Hi guys, again, as I've said, I'm just gonna continue posting the videos individually. So I asked ChatGPT, and this question or these questions were triggered something I was going through at this particular moment. This was last year. I was going through something, and I thought to myself, why is trauma often associated with childhood? Because I think I was traumatized at that point in my life. But every time I read something about trauma, it's always associated with childhood. So I asked, why is trauma often associated with childhood? Are we not picking up trauma as we experience in life every day? Also, how do you know which trauma triggers you, or how do we channel our traumas? Chat, it makes sense to me. Like everything I show, it just makes sense to me. If you don't believe ChatGPT or AI, I don't know why. But why is trauma often associated with childhood? Childhood is a developmental stage where the brain and nervous system are still forming during this period. Children are more vulnerable. They have fewer coping skills, less control over the environment, and rely completely on adults for safety. When something overwhelming happens, their system can process it the same way an adult might. Experiences shape the foundation of how we see ourselves and the world. Childhood memories, especially emotional charged ones, can form core beliefs. For example, I'm not safe, I'm not good enough, people can hurt me. These beliefs can follow you into adulthood. You understand? I'd say childhood trauma often goes unnoticed, and kids don't always understand or verbalize what they're going through. They may internalize experiences instead of expressing them, making the effects show up later in adulthood as patterns, triggers, or emotional responses. But trauma is absolutely real and valid. Trauma can happen at any age. My second question: are we not picking up trauma as we are experiencing life every day? Yes, you can develop trauma at any stage of life. Trauma is simply any experience that overwhelms your ability to cope and leaves a lasting imprint on your nervous system or sense of safety. This can include relationship betrayal, workplace stress or harassment, sudden loss, being in unsafe environments, chronic stress, emotional neglect, difficult transitions. Some trauma accumulates gradually, called complex trauma, while others happen from one event, acute trauma. Trauma is not about how big the event is, it's about how your mind and nervous systems experience it. Atike, how do you know which traumas triggers you? A trigger is something, a situation, a smell, tone of voice, dynamic or memory that activates a strong emotional or physical reaction. Signs something is a trigger. You react much stronger than the situation calls for. You feel flooded emotionally. You shut down or withdraw. Your heart races, stomach drops, or body tenses. You feel anxious, angry, and suddenly overwhelmed. The reaction feels familiar or repetitive. You can't fully explain why you feel that way. To identify which trauma is being triggered, notice patterns. What types of situations consistently bother or overwhelm you? Themes. Is it criticism, feeling ignored, feeling unsafe, being controlled, feeling abandoned? Your body's response. The body often remembers before the mind does. Emotional flashbacks. A sudden wave of shame, fear, or panic without a clear reason often ties back to old wounds. So how do we channel or heal our traumas? I'd see healing trauma is not about forcing yourself to get over it. It's about reconnecting with the parts of you that were affected and giving them what they didn't receive then. Here are some ways. Awareness. Noticing reactions, patterns, and triggers is already healing. Inner child work. Recognizing the younger you who felt scared, ignored, or hurt, and giving them emotional validation. Therapy, especially trauma-focused therapies like EMDR, somatic therapy, internal family systems, CBT with a trauma focus, and somatic practices. Trauma is stored in the body. Techniques that help: deep breathing, grounding, stretching, mindfulness, movement, dance, walking, yoga. I'd say emotional processing like journaling, talking, or reflecting on past experiences in a safe place. I'd say creating safety, setting boundaries, choosing healthy environments, and reducing stress helps the nervous system feel safe enough to heal. Lastly, self-compassion. Healing trauma involves learning to talk to yourself with kindness rather than judgment. I was like, Sana Lwamo, I'm healed already. I am healed already. Like, it just made so much sense. And that's why I think I had to find a way to journal or to write down everything I think about. Some things definitely I won't be able to share because they are very close to my heart. They're very personal, like my traumas, you understand. But as I've posted a video about the book, The Myth of Normal. I mentioned in that video that when it comes to my traumas or whatever that is, I don't think I've really realized all my traumas, but the ones that I know of, I got to understand how they came about. I got to understand why things happened the way they did, and I got to give myself grace, give people around me grace, and understand people are going through things, and not everyone is able to talk about their traumas. Not everyone is able to channel their traumas because they are basically hiding from them, you understand? They don't want to relive whatever situation happened to them. So the best bet is to just ignore it and move on. And there's unhealed parts of you that unconsciously you tend to become this person, this broken person, and you start treating other people badly without you knowing where that comes from, if I'm making sense. You understand? And on that, by all means, I try not to be that person. I try not to project my traumas, project whatever fears I have, or whatever it is I've been going through, my experiences. Yeah, but I try to not project. Hence, I'm not sure if I should share this, but I am taking my time, and I'm scared to become a parent because I am not ready to really let go and not be too cautious nor paranoid, because I want my kid or kids to live the best lives they possibly could without me interjecting all the time, without me being the it's a playing parent, aeroplane parent. I think that's what they call. I don't want to be over their head all the time. I want them to live freely. Yeah, but am I going to be able to do that? I don't know. You understand? Okay, either way, I hope that clarified some of the things, if you thought about it, that you thought about. And I hope you also dig deep and find your healing, find your channel your traumas and find healing in them, basically. I'm in that journey, and I think it's working very well for me. Thank you again for tuning in this video, and please watch the next one again.